Hello everybody, welcome back to KDP A to Z. Now a couple of weeks ago I showed you how you can make any medium content book very quickly in about an hour using the templates that you can find on Creative Fabrica. If you haven't seen that video, I would recommend taking a look at it. But as part of that video, I did show you very briefly how to make a front cover. Now, the point of that element of the video was really about getting the sizing right. And because I didn't have an awful lot of time, my cover ended up looking like this, which isn't as stunning as I would want it to be. So in today's video, I want to show you a couple of tips and tricks of how to really make your cover stand out. As before, I'm using the free version of Canva here, and I do always like to try and give you the stuff that you can do for free. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would recommend it. First of all, let's go to the home page of Canva. Now, there's still so much you can do with the free version of Canva, but one of the best ones that you can look at is this templates. So with Canva, looking on this dashboard, you can make things very quickly and easily. So if you wanted to make business cards, for example, it's really easy to do that. But I want to look at making a book cover. Now, as you can see, these book covers do look an awful lot more professional than the one I produced. So let's have a little look at the elements that make them look that way. Now, the free version of Canva will not let you edit any of the ones that are pro versions. So if I try to do this one, which is a pro version, you do have to get the Canva Pro. So it is one of the reasons that you might want to choose getting Canva Pro. But let's have a look at some of the ones that are free to do. So this one's a free one. So I want to look at the elements that are making this look professional. Now then, this is a sort of shadow mask. You can see that here. So if you take that away, it doesn't look quite as good. Let's look at some of the other elements that make it look amazing. If I click on the text and look at the effects of this, you can see that they've gone with the neon setting. That's made that really pop out, that text. Let's have a look at some others. So again, we've got the neon effect on the writing, and we also have this sort of mask, this transparent see-through mask that just sort of softens the edges of the front cover. Now this one hasn't got a neon effect. I think it works still quite well, but it does again have this sort of gradient mask that is softening the edges of the book cover. An awful lot of these book covers are going with a neon effect on these titles. So I think that's something I want to implement on my book cover. Some of them also have these sort of light effects. Can you see that? I'm moving around the page here. And that's just enhanced the image a little bit. Again here, this light effect has really enhanced that picture and made it pop out a little bit better. Now this one has gone with a lift effect on the writing. You can see without the lift effect, the writing tends to blur into the background a little bit more, but the lift does kind of help support it a little bit. So that's given me quite a good few ideas of what I can do with this. I'm probably going to remove these elements, but there's a couple of things I could do to these elements to make them look a bit better. So if you click on those elements, edit the photo, go on to effects. We'll go for a glow effect, and we're going to go with a white glow. If I just increase the intensity on that, you can see it does stand out a bit better. I can also change the transparency on that, make it look a little bit more subtle. And I can also increase the size of that glow. So I can just have it around the edge of the lines there like this, which I do quite like. Or I can have it really fat. I'm going to go with the sort of popping out of the edging on this glow. I'm going to do the same with this one. So we're editing the photo. We're applying a shadow, a glow. We're making the colour white. And the size of that glow. And the intensity. So I've made that kind of stand out a little bit better now. I never liked that particular element, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Now I want to make the text pop a little bit. So I'm going to try and apply the neon effect to this. You can change the colour. I'm going to go with something across here. If we adjust the intensity slightly, we'll get different effects. So I really want it 100% intense. So that will really make my text pop out there. And I'm going to go with one of the colours from the background there. Now I want to apply one of these very see-through masks and a gradient style one. To do that, you go on to elements and go into shapes. And then you can adjust the colour. So with that shape selected, you choose your colour and you go to gradient. And then you have two different colours to choose from. And you can add in as many colours as you want. So one of these colours I would like to be transparent. So I'm going to have that transparent there by adjusting the transparency at the bottom of this colour grade. Can you see that? And then the other colour, I just want to choose the same one as I did for this text. So I'm going to just look at the code that it is. So it's B7CEB. And I'm going to put that in here. You can see that that has now given me a shape with that gradient. Now I can also rotate this gradient so that the darker section is at the bottom. You can, of course, change your gradient by going onto the gradient section of the colours and changing it like this. So we could have it central. We could have it to one side, etc. So you can see with that mask on it, if I change the transparency of that mask, it'll have different effects. I can also change the transparency of just one of the colours. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you is how to get this sort of light effect and the keywords that you can use to get those sorts of elements in. So I've found some pretty good ones. When you go into elements and you search the elements, so if you put in light effect and look at the graphics, it will come up with loads of them that have the crown next to them, which mean they're the paid ones. But we've got some good ones here that will really just help accent your page. So to duplicate it, to have the same thing, you just press this button. Canva's really good as well at recommending other ones. So that was actually the one that was used on that other document. Some other good ones I found in Elements is if you type in the keywords glitter texture. Now, again, a lot of them are going to be paid, but you are going to find some good ones that are free. So you can find some really pretty glitter effects that you can put in the background of your document. Now, to make sure that's not too overpowering, you'd want to go to Layer and Send Backwards and keep sending it backwards until you're happy with the way it looks. Looking down through the glitter texture, I found this one. It's quite a way down. But to look at the actual keywords of this element, you can click on the three boxes and here you can see it's glitter brush stroke. This is a free one. So if you wanted to just type in that, a glitter brush stroke or brush shape decorative paint design, you could do. So let's click on that one. And then, of course, it will come up with some extra magic recommendations. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. Now, this is a really nice one. But actually, I do think I prefer this one. Now, I think I want this behind all my lettering. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reshape that. And then I'm going to duplicate it because I don't want to distort it. So you can see some of the glitter is in front of the lettering and some of it is not. So what I'm doing is I'm going to select all the lettering and I'm going to go and press layer and I'm going to bring that to the front. That way, all the glitter is behind my lettering. I'm just going to have it a little bit higher up. So now I've sort of got this glittery background to the lettering, which I really like, but I don't like these edges. What I'm going to do to get rid of that is I'm going to search for a blur. Again, there's lots of different ones, but we can select this one, which is free. And we're going to change the color on it, again, to sort of blue. I'm going to shrink that down I'm just going to position this in various places. So I'm going to shrink it right down because I want to sort of soften those edges. So again, I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to keep doing that until I've got the sort of effect that I want. Again, I'm going to bring the lettering to the front. So I'm just going to re-add those beautiful elements that I've lost, those light effect ones. In fact, I like that so much, I think I'm going to get rid of this flowery stuff. Now what I'm going to do now is I want to put the same sort of glittery effect on the back. So after a little bit of playing around with it, I have copied the glitter feature across to the background of the blurb on the back of the page so that it matches. I've just slightly darkened the background colour here so that it popped out. So the previous colour was this one, and I didn't feel like it popped out enough. So I've gone with a slightly darker colour, which just helps it to pop a little bit. So keeping that neon background effect. I've stuck with the mask over the top of it. And if I remove this mask or move it out of the way, you can see it doesn't look quite as good as with the mask. I've made sure that the lettering is all come to the front so that it isn't drowned out too much by these light effects. And I've added in a little line here and just made that white. So I think you can agree that this looks way more professional than my previous design. This was the previous design. And all we've done there is added a few different effects. So the main ones being the neon lettering effect, this sort of transparent mask that we've applied over the top, and then some lighting effects. And I think that's just really helped lift it. And then, of course, you can add the glitter as well. Hope you found that helpful. See you next time. Bye.